The Yu-Gi-Oh timeline. What is it? Now, obviously I don't think the creators of these shows intended for there to be any real timeline or continuity, but it's always fun to imagine, so I'm here to try and piece together a timeline for it. This is just for the various anime. I don't really see how the manga would connect to anything, other than of course the original manga connecting to Dark Side of Dimensions. So the first is easy, the original series, then GX, then 5Ds. It's very clear that these take place right after each other. There's even the Bonds of Beyond Time movie during 5Ds that connects the three of them. So that's simple. My next point is what this theory really hinges on. So, in 5Ds, we find out that in the future timeline, a mech lord genocide happens that wipes out pretty much all of humanity, and it's essentially because of synchro summoning. So, let's say this leaks out into the public, and they start to view more advanced dueling as bad and dangerous due to, almost causing the extinction of the human race. So this leads us into Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s, where, so far, they've just been using normal monsters and that's it. Yes, they're rush duel cards, but in-universe they were using them for master duels previously, and so the card art is really just, for advertising purposes. Maximums are obviously a thing too in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s right now, but let's just say rush duels don't really catch on outside of Goha City, or at least they just fade from popularity later on, and rush duels are the only way to make maximums, so they just don't happen, and they're really just like an advanced tribute. They're like the a super tribute summon, basically. Then this takes us to Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, where here we get a new type of extra deck summoning introduced, the Xyz summoning, and it clearly becomes extremely popular. And you just see like a brief snippet of fusion pops up briefly, but only briefly, because perhaps the stigma of the old summoning types still hasn't entirely faded yet, and we don't see any synchros. I know there was one still cell of a Dark Tuner at one point in a preview, but that's nothing. Next, then, we go on to Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains, which has the fusion, it has the Xyz, and it even has the synchro, which I think is because it's enough in the future that the stigma has passed, and of course, Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains introduces Link summoning. Now, let's say two things. One is that links only really work within Link Vrains, or at least when doing that weird internet-connected duels like they did that one time in a flashback. And that these charisma duelist phenomenon eventually spins out into the real world. So links fall out of favor simply due to the service offering them becoming unpopular, or just like in the real world where it did restrict the other summoning methods, and eventually it switched to just allowing more freedom in summoning. And so links just fell out of favor naturally. Then with the theory, so we say that charisma duelists become the real life stars in the form of entertainment duelists, leading to the original world of Arc 5, the unified world, which then of course got split up into 4 worlds, and then Arc 5 happens. So that's my thought on how these could possibly line up. It does require some reaching and speculation, but I don't know how else to line it up. If you have any interesting thoughts on how it could, let me know down in the comments.